The Galactic Council Grand Hall was never silent. It was a place of power, a place of loud voices, glowing holograms and endless discussions. But today the silence was heavy. It felt like the whole universe was holding its breath. Lightning cracked across the sky outside the crystal windows. Thunder shook the ground. The giant doors at the back of the hall slowly opened with a deep metallic groan. Every leader turned. Every heart stopped. The golden chair at the center of the chamber, Earth's seat, was empty. For the first time in 200 years, humanity was gone. A hologram flickered above the empty chair. Lines of text glowed in bright white. The message repeated again and again. Humanity has withdrawn. Gasps filled the hall. Some leaders whispered. Some panicked. Some simply stared, unable to believe what they were seeing. The High Speaker of the Council, a tall creature with silver horns, slammed his staff against the floor. "This cannot be real," he shouted. "Humans were our shield. Our warriors. Our voice of reason. Why would they leave?" No one answered. A small insectoid diplomat clicked nervously. "Trade with Earth is already dropping. Farming worlds depend on their supplies. If humans refuse cooperation, billions may starve." Another leader, a reptilian general, hissed loudly. "It is worse than that. Without humans, who will stop the pirate clans? The warlords? The rogue machines?" Fear grew like a storm inside the chamber. Everyone knew the truth. Humanity was the strongest member of the council, both in technology and military power. They protected weak species. They kept the peace. They stopped wars before they began. Without humans, the galaxy was open for chaos. A shadow moved in the corner of the hall. A dark figure watched silently from a balcony, eyes glowing red. It belonged to a dangerous enemy race known only in whispers. The Shadeborn. They had waited for this moment. Waited for humans to step away. Waited for weakness. Now, everything humans protected was at risk. The first shockwave. A council officer ran into the room, gasping for breath. "High Speaker. News from the frontier. The Marauder clans have launched attacks on 3 planets." The hall erupted in panic. They never dared to attack before. They know humans won't come. They think we are weak. The High Speaker clenched his teeth. So the collapse begins already. Another officer rushed in holding a data pad. Reports coming from Sector 14. Trade ships attacked. Hospitals raided. Mining stations destroyed. The reptilian general slammed his tail against the floor. "This is why humanity must return. Without them, the galaxy falls apart." But Earth had made its choice. And no one understood why. The attempt to call Earth. The High Speaker turned to a group of communication specialists. "Send a direct message to Earth. Highest priority. Tell them the Council requests an emergency meeting." "Yes, High Speaker." They activated a large holographic screen. A bright blue signal shot across space heading toward Earth's system. The hall waited. Seconds passed. Then a minute. Then 2. Then 3. Finally, a quiet beep echoed through the chamber. Response received. Every leader leaned forward. Every eye focused. A small hologram appeared. A calm human voice spoke. "The Earth Federation acknowledges your message." Hope spread across the hall. Then the voice continued. "But humanity will not return." Silence. Heavy. Crushing. "Why?" the High Speaker demanded. "Why leave at such a critical time?" The human voice replied. "For 2 centuries we carried the galaxy. We fought your wars. We kept your peace. We protected you from threats you never saw." The voice grew colder, stronger. "But you never stood with us. Not once." A wave of shame moved through the hall. The voice finished. "We choose isolation. Earth will stand alone from now on." The hologram faded. Hope faded with it. Fear spreads. Leaders argued loudly. "This is a disaster. We must give Earth what they want. They cannot abandon us now. The galaxy will collapse. Humans owe us nothing." Chaos grew. Voices rose. Everyone talked but no one listened. Elder Veruin, the oldest member of the council, spoke softly. His voice cut through the noise like a gentle blade. "Humans always said the galaxy was not ready for the darkness coming." He looked at the empty golden chair. "Perhaps they see something we do not." A cold shiver moved through the room. What darkness? What danger? What did humans know? The lights go out. Suddenly, boom. The entire grand hall shook. Lights flickered. Screens went dark. The room dropped into deep shadow. Leaders screamed. Guards drew weapons. Sparks crackled from the ceiling. Then slowly, A new hologram turned on above Earth's empty seat. Only a single line of text appeared, and it froze every soul in the chamber. Without humans, the galaxy is collapsing. Thunder echoed through the hall again. But this time, it wasn't from the storm outside. It was the sound of something breaking. Something deep. Something powerful. Something ancient. The age of peace was over. And everyone knew it. The outer rim was once peaceful. Ships moved freely. Markets were busy. Children played outside under twin suns. Life was simple, calm, and safe, because humans patrolled these borders. Their presence alone kept pirates, raiders, and warlords far away. But now, everything was different. Ever since humanity left the Galactic Council, the outer rim began to fall apart. A planet in panic. The planet Ravora 9, a dusty frontier world, shook with explosions. Fires burned across the horizon. Smoke covered the sky like a dark blanket blocking out the sun. A small council officer outpost stood at the edge of a broken city. The doors flew open and a young alien officer named Laro rushed inside, breathing hard, dust covering his uniform. "Commander, another district is under attack." The Marauder clans broke through the eastern walls. Inside the command room, Commander Tezhar, an old battle-worn alien with gray scales, stared at a hollow map filled with red blinking points. "All red. All bad," he whispered. "This world is falling." His officers looked lost. Afraid. Desperate. Laro swallowed nervously. "Sir, should we call for human assistance?" The room fell silent. Everyone knew the answer. "Humans are gone," Tezhar said softly. "They refused every message. We stand alone now." A loud explosion outside shook the building. Dust fell from the ceiling. Voices screamed in the streets. Chaos had arrived, and no one could stop it. The Marauder attack. The holoscreens lit up with live footage. Burning houses. Families running. Ships firing on civilians. Warlords laughing as they took over entire neighborhoods. Laro trembled as he watched. They were always afraid of humanity. That's why they stayed away. Tezhar nodded. And now that humans left, they are free to do as they wish. The door burst open again. 2 soldiers dragging in an injured civilian, a thin creature with purple skin. Her voice shook as she spoke. "They're everywhere. They took the schools, the hospitals, they—" She stopped crying. Laro knelt beside her gently. "It's okay. You're safe here." But they all knew it wasn't true. The desperate message. Commander Tezhar made a decision. He stood tall, walked to the central console, and activated a long-range transmitter. "We cannot survive this alone." He looked at his officers. "Record my message." A small sphere floated into the air, capturing his words. "This is Commander Tezhar of Ravora 9. We request immediate aid from Earth Federation forces. Our defenses are collapsing. Our people are dying. If anyone is listening, please help us." He ended the message and watched as the beacon shot into space toward Earth. Laro whispered, "Do you think they will answer?" Tezhar didn't reply, because deep inside he feared the truth. Humans had abandoned them. The enemy in the shadows. 2 floors below, inside the darker parts of the city, a group of strange armored beings stood silently on a balcony overlooking the chaos. They were not part of the Marauder clans. They were not pirates. They were waiting. Their leader, a tall shadowy figure with burning red eyes, spoke in a cold voice. "The humans are gone. Now the galaxy weakens. This is our moment." One of the shadowed warriors asked, "Should we strike now?" "Not yet," the leader replied. "Let the chaos spread. Let the council break. When darkness covers the galaxy, we will act." A chilling wind moved past them even though they were indoors. They were the Shadeborn, a race long banned by humans centuries ago. And now they were preparing to rise. The collapse intensifies. Back at the council outpost, alarms blared again. "Commander!" Laro shouted. The Marauders breached the west gate. Tezhar clenched his jaw. "Evacuate the civilians. Hold the line." Soldiers rushed outside with plasma shields and rifles. They fired at incoming raiders. The raiders returned fire, shouting in wild rage. Explosions filled the streets. Screams echoed. Buildings collapsed. The frontier world was drowning in fire and fear. Inside the command room, officers monitored the beacon message. A small screen blinked. Message sent. Then silence. Laro stared at the screen, hoping it would blink again. Hoping for a reply. Hoping for a miracle. Nothing came. The last stand. A loud crash echoed above them. The ceiling cracked. Dust rained down. The outpost began to fall apart. "Commander," a soldier screamed. "The marauders are inside the building." Teshar grabbed his weapon. "All units to the lower hall. Protect the civilians." Laro followed him, heart racing. Sparks shot from broken lights. The walls shook with laser impacts. They could hear raiders shouting closer and closer. Laro whispered, "We're going to die, aren't we?" Teshar didn't answer. He only gripped his weapon tighter. Suddenly, the lights flickered. Then every screen in the room turned black. A strange silence fell. And then, a new hologram activated. Not from the Council. Not from the Marauders. It was Earth's symbol. Bright blue. Alive. Laro gasped. Are they answering?" The hologram displayed one short message. "Earth has received your signal." Teshar felt hope rise in his chest. But then, the message changed. The words shifted into something darker. "Prepare yourselves." The officers looked confused. "Prepare for what?" Laro asked. The lights shut off. The room fell into darkness. One line appeared in bright red. "The galaxy is collapsing. Far away from the burning outer rim. Far from collapsing worlds. Far from the cries for help. Earth remained silent. No ships launched. No fleets moved. No messages of hope were sent. From the outside it looked like humanity didn't care. But inside Earth, deep below mountains, oceans and deserts, something ancient was waking. The mountain below. High in the snowy peaks of the Andes, a storm raged across the night sky. Lightning flashed again and again, striking the same mountaintop repeatedly, too many times to be natural. The ground trembled. Hidden under layers of rock, metal doors the size of city buildings began to open for the first time in centuries. Ice cracked. Snow slid off in waves. Warm light rose from below as machines hummed awake. Inside the underground base, hundreds of scientists and officers worked with calm, controlled panic. Screens flashed red warning symbols. Strange energy readings spiked across all monitors. In the center of the room stood Commander Raylan, a tall, quiet man with sharp eyes. He stared at a hologram showing dozens of planets falling into chaos. Trade routes collapsing. Pirates taking over cities. Frontier worlds burning. Earth's isolation had consequences, and Raylan knew it. But Earth had not abandoned the galaxy without a reason. Raylan looked at another screen, one showing a massive, dark signal moving slowly through the northern part of the galaxy. A signal older than the Council. Older than every known species. Raylan whispered, "It's getting closer." The awakening chamber. 2 floors below, scientists gathered around a glowing metallic sphere. It floated in midair, surrounded by rotating rings of energy. Dr. Mira, head scientist and an expert on ancient human technology, typed rapidly on her console. "The core is reacting again. Energy output rising, 30%, 40, 52. A young assistant swallowed nervously. "Ma'am, what is that thing?" "A weapon." Dr. Mira shook her head slowly. "We don't know. We discovered it 180 years ago under the Antarctic ice. It predates all human records." The sphere suddenly pulsed. Boom. The lights flickered across the entire base. Commander Raylan arrived at the chamber entrance. "Report." Dr. Mira stepped forward. "The artifact is communicating. But not with us." Raylan frowned. "Then with who?" "The galaxy," Mira said quietly. "It's listening." A warning from the stars. The artifact glowed brighter, like a rising sun trapped inside metal. Strange symbols floated around it, spinning faster and faster. Then, a hologram shot into the air. The scientists gasped. Raylan froze. It was not human. Not alien. Not something that belonged in this time. A tall, shining figure formed in midair, its face hidden behind light. Its voice echoed like distant thunder. "Children of Earth." Raylan stepped forward cautiously. "Identify yourself." The hologram continued. "You were created to survive the impossible." Mira felt her breath stop. "Created? By who?" The figure raised a hand. "Long before your time, Earth was the cradle of the First Empire. A place of warriors, guardians, and watchers." The scientist stared in disbelief. "Humanity was part of something ancient. Something forgotten. You were meant to defend the galaxy," the figure said, voice growing darker. "But the galaxy turned against you." Raylan's jaw tightened. "Are you saying the Council betrayed us?" The figure looked toward him. "They feared your strength. They hid your history. They weakened you." Mira whispered, "Then why did they ask humans to lead their armies for so long?" The figure answered, Because only humanity could stop what is coming. A deep rumbling filled the chamber. Everyone turned toward the monitors. A massive shadow appeared on the long-range sensors. Bigger than a fleet. Bigger than a planet. Moving toward the center of the galaxy. The figure spoke again. The Devourers have awakened. Raylan felt a cold heaviness form in his chest. What are Devourers? The hologram flickered violently as if in fear. They consume stars. They destroy civilizations. They end empires. Every scientist in the chamber froze. And they are coming, the hologram whispered. Drawn by the weakness of the galaxy. And the absence of humanity. The chamber fell silent. Earth's choice. Commander Raylan looked at the hologram of burning frontier worlds. Billions are dying, he said quietly. Should we go back? The hologram answered. The galaxy abandoned you once. You do not owe them anything. Mira turned sharply. So we let them die? The hologram's light dimmed. Whether you choose to save them, or let the galaxy burn. That choice is yours. Then the figure vanished. The artifact went silent. Only the deep hum of ancient power remained. Raylan stood still for a long moment. Then he spoke. Prepare the Helios fleet. Myra's eyes widened. You're activating the ancient ships? Raylan nodded. It's time Earth stops hiding. The suspense ended. As Raylan walked out of the chamber, an officer ran up to him, shaking. Sir, we just picked up a signal from the outer rim. Raylan stopped. What signal? The officer hesitated, voice cracking. It's a distress call. He handed Raylan a device. Raylan played the message. A shaky alien voice spoke through static. Earth, please, we need you. More screams. Explosions. Then silence. Raylan's eyes hardened. Prepare Earth's forces. The galaxy is collapsing. Lights across the entire base turned red. Sirens echoed. Machines awakened. Earth was coming back. But not as a member of the Council. As something far more powerful. The Galactic Council homeworld of Arathon had always been a shining symbol of peace. Its sky bridges were made of glass crystal. Its towers glowed with energy. Millions of diplomats, soldiers, and citizens moved through the streets every day. But now, the alarm sirens drowned everything. The sky was filled with emergency ships. Soldiers ran across the platforms. Holograms blinked with red alerts. The peaceful city had turned into a battlefield without an enemy even arriving. Inside the council war room, panic ruled the air. Dozens of leaders shouted at once. The room was round, with a huge floating hologram in the center. A galaxy map filled with bright red danger zones. Sector after sector was falling. World after world was burning. Commander Zeltor, head of Galactic Defense, slammed his claws on the table. Without humans we cannot protect the outer rim, he shouted. Another counselor yelled, we must beg Earth to return. A third screamed, Earth abandoned us. Why should they help now? The High Speaker entered the room, his silver robe torn, his face pale. Silence, he commanded. But the room did not fall silent. Fear was too strong. The galaxy burns. A young officer rushed in, almost tripping over the steps. His skin was pale purple, sweat covering his forehead. High Speaker. New reports from the frontier. Everyone turned. He swallowed hard. The Marauder clans have taken 5 more planets. Refugees are fleeing in every direction. Another officer shouted, the Shadeborn have been spotted near Sector 91. The whole room froze. Shadeborn? Someone whispered. They haven't been seen for centuries. Commander Zeltor growled, the Shadeborn were kept away only because humans guarded the borders. A diplomat cried out, without humans, nothing stops them. The High Speaker raised his voice again. The Council cannot fall into fear. We must stay strong. But his voice shook. He was afraid too. A new enemy emerges. A giant red circle appeared on the hologram. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Larger than any enemy signature the Council had ever recorded. Commander Zeltor stared at it with disbelief. What is that? The map zoomed in automatically. It was not a fleet. Not a star. Not a planet. A moving shadow. A massive, shapeless form drifting through space like a storm of darkness. The officer monitoring the map whispered. It killed 3 scout fleets in seconds. The High Speaker stepped back. Impossible. A scientist adjusted her glasses, voice trembling. We have never seen such energy readings. It consumes everything it touches. The hologram blinked with a name. Unknown entity, code black. Zeltor clenched his teeth. It's heading toward the Council homeworld. Every leader in the room felt their blood turn cold. The decision to contact Earth. A loud argument broke out instantly. We must contact Earth. No. They rejected us. They are the only ones strong enough. They will never help. The High Speaker slammed his staff again. We will send a message. This is not a request, this is survival. The room fell into silence. He looked at his communication officers. Send an emergency plea. A hologram broadcast channel opened. The High Speaker spoke, his voice breaking with desperation. Earth Federation, this is the Galactic Council. We request immediate assistance. The galaxy is falling. A new enemy is coming. If you do not return, billions will die. The message was sent. Now all they could do was wait. The grim truth. An older counselor named Sereth, the wisest among them, walked toward the galaxy map with slow steps. He stared at the red zone spreading like fire. This collapse is our fault, he whispered. No one wanted to hear it. Sereth continued, voice soft but sharp. We used humanity as our shield, but never treated them as equals. We hid their past. We feared their strength. And when they needed us, we were silent. Heads lowered around the room. The truth was painful. The High Speaker sighed deeply. We cannot change the past. Only the future. If Earth returns, perhaps we survive. A young diplomat, shaking, asked, and if they don't? Sereth answered quietly. Then the galaxy dies. The message from Earth. Suddenly, beep. A signal appeared on the screen. Response from Earth Federation. Every leader leaned forward, breath held. The hologram activated. A calm human voice spoke. Message received. Zeltor whispered, this is it? The voice continued. Earth is observing the situation. Fear flashed across the room. Observing? A counselor shouted. We need help now. The human voice repeated. We will decide our next action soon. The message ended. No answer. No promise. No rescue. Only uncertainty. The collapse accelerates. Another alarm screamed. High Speaker. The dark entity has increased speed. The hologram zoomed out. The shadow was eating starlight, consuming ships, destroying whole regions. It was coming straight for the Council homeworld. A cold realization struck everyone. This enemy didn't want planets. It didn't want slaves. It didn't want war. It wanted everything. Suspense end, lights out. Suddenly, boom. The power in the entire war room shut off. Lights died. Screens went black. The hologram disappeared. Only a single emergency message blinked in red. Impact in 72 hours. The High Speaker whispered. Without humans, we cannot win. The shadows of space grew darker. The unknown entity, massive, silent, unstoppable, moved across the star systems like a living storm. Scout ships disappeared. Signal stations went dark. Whole planets lost communication. And the worst part? No one knew what the thing actually was. Not yet. The silent region. At the far edge of the galaxy lay Sector 0, a forbidden region where no ship dared enter. Stars there were dim. Space felt heavier, colder. Ancient warnings told pilots never to go near it. But the Council had no choice. They needed answers. So they sent their strongest reconnaissance vessel, the Star Rover, into the dark region. Its captain, a calm and disciplined alien named Joran, stood at the front deck, staring into the endless black fog ahead. His officers whispered nervously. Sir, no ship has ever returned from this place. Joran rested a hand on his console. Then today we changed that. He activated the engines. The ship entered the darkness. Inside the black fog. The moment the Star Rover crossed the boundary, everything changed. Lights flickered. Compasses went wild. Gravity shifted as if space was bending around them. A young officer gasped. Sir. The stars disappeared. Joran looked at the screen. He was right. There were no stars. No planets. Just an endless sea of dark energy swirling like smoke. Stay calm, Joran said. Scan the area. The ship's sensors began a deep scan. But then a strange sound echoed through the hull. A deep, low hum. Not mechanical. Not electrical. Alive. One officer whispered shakily, What is that? Before Joran could answer, a bright flash lit up the fog outside. Everyone turned toward the windows. And froze. The first sight of the devourers. Something immense moved in the fog. Bigger than any ship. Bigger than any creature. A silhouette so massive it blocked everything behind it. The officers stared with wide eyes. It's a shape, someone whispered. A giant shape. But it wasn't one creature. The fog parted, revealing thousands of smaller forms, metallic, sharp, glowing like burning embers. They moved like a swarm. The ship AI finally detected something. Warning, unknown species detected. Classification, devourers. Age ancient. Purpose, consumption. Joran's heartbeat spiked. So the stories were true. The devourers were real. And they were coming. The attack. Before anyone could react. Thump. Something hit the side of the ship. The hull dented inward. Sparks flew. The second hit, louder, harder. The crew screamed, falling across the floor as the ship spun. Shields failing, an officer shouted. Joran yelled, evasive maneuvers. But it was too late. The swarm of metallic creatures lunged at the Star Rover. They moved like living knives, cutting through armor like soft paper. One creature sliced through the side window. Another shot a beam that melted an entire corridor. Chaos erupted. The crew fought to regain control, but the devourers were too fast. The massive shadow, the largest devourer, moved closer. Its glowing eyes stared directly at the ship as if examining prey. Joran whispered, "This is the end." But then, a strange pulse came from deep inside the fog, and all devourers suddenly stopped. Just froze in place. "What happened?" an officer whispered. Joran stared at the sensors. He saw it. Something else was coming. Something even bigger. The ancient core. The fog split open like a curtain. A new structure appeared, so huge it didn't look real. A ring-shaped megastructure floating in the void, cracked and broken from age. Its interior glowed with dim red lines almost like veins. The Star Rover's AI identified it instantly. Ancient core wreckage. Estimated age, greater than 500,000 years. Origin, First Empire. Joran felt the blood drain from his face. The First Empire. Humanity's forgotten ancestors. The same empire that built Earth's ancient weapons. The same empire that fought the Devourers thousands of years ago. The megastructure activated. A holographic projection formed in front of the Star Rover, tall, glowing, with a humanoid shape. Its voice echoed in the ship. "You should not be here." Joran swallowed. "Who are you?" The hologram flickered. "Guardian of the core. Are the Devourers your enemies?" The hologram paused. "The Devourers destroyed the First Empire." The crew gasped. Joran stepped closer. "What do they want?" The hologram slowly raised its head. "They consume life. Stars. Worlds. Species." Joran whispered, "They're coming for the Council worlds." The hologram dimmed. "They already have." Escape. The Devourers began moving again. Fast. Aggressive. Thousands of them turned toward the Star Rover. Joran yelled, "All engines, back to maximum." The ship sped toward the exit, chased by the swarm. Alarms flashed. The hull cracked. The engines overheated. The larger devourer roared silently in the void and lunged. But the Star Rover shot out of the fog at the last second. The crew cried out in relief. They had escaped. Barely. The warning. Joran recorded a desperate message. "This is Captain Joran of the Star Rover. We have seen the truth. The Devourers are real. They are coming. We do not have the power to stop them." He hesitated. "But maybe Earth does." He sent the message across the galaxy. Toward Earth. Suspense end. Back on the Council homeworld, the message broke through the static and played in the Grand Hall. Leaders listened in horror. And then the message ended with the last chilling line. "If humanity does not return, the galaxy dies." The hall fell silent. Everyone turned toward Earth's empty golden seat. The fate of the galaxy now depended on the humans who walked away. Earth's skies were calm, blue, peaceful, quiet. No one outside the planet knew what was happening underground, deep inside Earth's hidden command centers. But inside the mountains, oceans, ice, and deserts, where ancient bases slept, everything was changing. Alarms glowed red. Screens displayed collapsing star systems. And a single message from Captain Joran repeated through the speakers. "If humanity does not return, the galaxy dies." Inside the Earth Federation's global defense room, the atmosphere was heavy. Leaders, scientists, and commanders sat around a giant holographic table showing the Devourers moving across the galaxy like a spreading shadow. Commander Raylan stood in front of them, all eyes on him. He asked one quiet question. "Do we help them, or not?" No one answered for long moments. Earth had pulled away from the Galactic Council for good reasons. They had been betrayed in the past. Used as soldiers. Used as shields. Used as tools. The galaxy wanted human strength, but never respected it. Raylan turned to Dr. Mira. What's our status? Mira pushed a hologram forward showing dozens of glowing ancient human ships. Helios fleet is waking, she said. But it is not ready for full war. Raylan crossed his arms. The Devourers won't wait. The debate begins. A councilwoman spoke loudly, her voice tense. We should not risk our people for a galaxy that abandoned us. Another replied sharply, if the Devourers reach Earth next, isolation won't save us. A military general shouted. We must attack. Strike them now before they swallow everything. A scientist shook her head. We don't even know if we can hurt them. Dozens of voices filled the room, arguing, blaming, shouting. Commander Raylan finally cut through the noise. Enough. Everyone fell silent. Raylan tapped the hologram. The image zoomed out. The entire galaxy, half covered in red. Whether we help or not, Raylan said, the Devourers will come here. Mira added softly, they sense life. They consume everything living. A quiet fear spread across the room. Earth was a death world, full of life, full of energy. A perfect target. The Devourer approaches the council. A new alert flashed across the screens. New transmission received. Raylan opened it. It was from the Galactic Council. Their faces looked pale, hopeless. The high speaker spoke, voice shaking. Earth, if you can hear us, please, we need your help. Explosions echoed behind him. The council chamber shook. People screamed. Another leader shouted. Devourer forces have reached our outer moons. Our fleets are falling. Raylan's eyes hardened. Earth was running out of time to decide. Inside Earth's ancient hangar. Below Antarctica, a massive ice wall slid open. Warm light burst out. Ancient warships, black and glowing with runes, stood ready. Soldiers, engineers, and pilots stood in rows waiting for orders. Mira walked beside Raylan between the huge metallic giants. Look at them, she whispered. They're older than our history. Raylan nodded. They were waiting for us to wake them. Mira touched one of the ships gently. It hummed like a breathing creature. Raylan looked around the hangar. This is why humans survived, he said. This is why Earth is strong. We were meant to fight the Devourers. Mira turned to him. So the question is, will we? The Human Council decision. Back in the Global Defense Room, the vote began. Isolation. Intervention. Retaliation. Risk. Survival. One by one, leaders cast their votes. The room grew tense. The final vote reached Raylan. Everyone waited. Raylan stared at the galaxy map. The red zone spreading. The council homeworld dying. The Devourer swarm approaching. He spoke softly. Earth does not run from fear. He tapped the console. Vote. Earth will activate the Helios fleet. The room erupted. Some cheered. Some cried. Some stared silently. But the decision was made. Humanity was returning. Humanity prepares for war. Earth's skies lit up as gigantic doors opened across continents. Hidden bases activated. Under the Pacific Ocean, metallic leviathans rose toward the surface. In Sahara's deep sands, old hangars opened like awakening beasts. Inside the moon's shadow, black ships warmed their engines. Ancient technology, older than the council, older than humans understood, now answered the call. Raylan stood on a command balcony overlooking the launch platforms. Mira joined him. She whispered, "Do you think we can win?" Raylan didn't lie. "I don't know," he added quietly. "But humanity always fights hardest when we stand alone." The launch. Sirens echoed. The first Helios warship, massive, black, glowing, rose into the sky. Engines thundered. The ground shook. Soldiers saluted. Scientists watched in awe. Civilians cried with hope. Raylan gave the command. Helios fleet, launch. One after another, ancient ships shot into space like burning stars. Suspense end, a shadow blocks their path. As the first fleet approached space, sensors went wild. Alarms blared. Mira shouted, "Something is in our flight path." Raylan turned toward the view screen. And froze. A massive dark shape drifted between the moon and Earth. A Devourer scout. Huge. Silent. Watching. The room fell silent. Raylan whispered, "They found us." The first Helios warships had barely left Earth's atmosphere when the shadow appeared. It moved slowly, silently, blocking the sunlight across a huge portion of space. The massive creature, one of the Devourer scouts, drifted like a dark moon covered in metal tendrils and burning eyes. Inside the Earth Command Center, alarms screamed. Object approaching. Size, unknown. Energy level, off the charts. Commander Raylan stepped onto the viewing deck, staring up at the enormous silhouette. Mira whispered beside him, her voice trembling. Raylan, if that is only a scout, what does the real Devourer look like? Raylan didn't answer. Because he didn't know. The first contact. Above Earth, the Devourer scout turned slowly, its glowing red eyes focusing on the Helios fleet, ships older than history now awakened for war. The creature released a low-frequency roar, silent in space, but felt in the bones of every human listening. Earth sensors glitched. The atmosphere vibrated. One Helios ship reported. Unknown signal detected. It is scanning us. Raylan's jaw tightened. They're testing us. The giant creature opened its metallic jaws. A swirling sphere of dark energy formed inside. Mira gasped. It's charging a weapon. Raylan made his decision instantly. All ships defend Earth. The Helios fleet roared to life. The first battle. The Devourer fired first. A beam of pure darkness rushed toward Earth like a spear meant to shatter planets. But the lead Helios warship, a massive titan with glowing runes, moved into its path. Its ancient shields flared blue. The impact shook the entire ship, but it held. Shield stable, a pilot shouted. It didn't break through. The room erupted in disbelief. Earth's ancient technology was strong enough to block Devourer weapons. Raylan pointed at the screen. Helios fleet, attack. The sky lit up. Blue, white, and silver beams shot from human ships. Energy pulses crackled. Missiles streaked through space. Runes shined like ancient magic. The Devourer roared and swung toward them. It moved like a giant predator in water, fast, unpredictable. 1,000 metallic tendrils slashed at the fleet. One ship was hit, its hull torn like paper. Helios, 7 is down. Another got caught in a tendril and crushed. But the fleet fought back with terrifying precision. These were not normal ships. They were war machines built by humanity's forgotten ancestors for one purpose: to destroy Devourers. The Council watches helplessly. In the Galactic Council Hall, all members stood in fear, staring at the live broadcast showing Earth fighting the Devourer scout. The High Speaker's voice trembled. They stood alone, and yet their power. Commander Zeltor whispered, with humans, the galaxy had balance. Counselor Sereth nodded slowly. And without them, everything broke. Leaders watched as the battlefield burned with blue and red light. One diplomat whispered, what if humans refuse to save us? Another asked, what if they save us, but never forgive us? Sereth stared at Earth's glowing ancient ships. Humanity now decides the fate of the galaxy. The turning point. Back in space, the Scout Devourer unleashed a second dark beam. This time it targeted Earth directly. Raylan's voice sharpened. All ships intercept. 2 Helios ships moved in front of Earth. Their runes flared. The beam hit. For a moment, everything went white. When the light faded, the 2 ships were still there. Barely. Cracked. Burning. But alive. And they answered with everything they had. A combined blast of pure Helios energy. The Devourer scout screeched. Cracks appeared across its body. Dark blood leaked into space. Then a third Helios ship fired. Then a fourth. Then the entire fleet. Blue-white beams connected into one massive strike. The scout's glowing eyes dimmed. The creature shook violently. And then, boom. A silent explosion rippled across space. The Devourer scout shattered into dust. A deep wave of light moved across the battlefield. It was over. Humanity had won the first battle. Earth returns. Inside the Earth Command Center, cheers filled the room. Mira let out a shaking breath. We did it. Raylan didn't celebrate. He stared at the map showing the galaxy. Millions of red zones. Dozens of Devourer swarms. Billions of lives in danger. The scout was only the beginning. Raylan turned to his staff. Send a message to the Galactic Council. The officer nodded. What message, sir? Raylan's voice was calm, powerful, final. Earth is returning. The final twist, the true Devourer arrives. On the edge of the galaxy. Where starlight failed. Where ancient ghosts slept. Something stirred. Not a scout. Not a swarm. The true Devourer, a world-sized being of shadow and metal, opened its colossal eyes. It felt the death of its scout. It felt Earth's energy. It felt humanity awakening. The creature released a roar so strong it warped space. A new signal spread across the stars. A message understood by every devourer anywhere in the universe. The Deathworlders have returned. The entire galaxy,